Perfect. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Town of Edmonston Council, Mayor and Town Council meeting for February 8th, 2023. Good evening, everyone. At this time, I would like to for us to stand for the pledge to the flag. I was trying to get my Zoom together. Stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We also always take a moment to provide respect and for a moment of silence. Just remembering those who may have suffered, other countries who may have suffered, those who may be close to us who may have suffered, and lives that have been lost. And let's just take a moment at this time. Thank you so much. And again, welcome to the Town of Edmonston for our Mayor and Town Council meeting for February the 8th, 2023. We'll start our agenda this evening with public comments. And I know that we had the opportunity to meet Ms. Gordon. She represents our newly elected Congressman Glenn Ivy's office, and she provided us, she's the casework manager for Congressman Ivy's office. And so thank you so much for being here. You can go ahead and jump on the screen real quick. I think it's just the council and our chief and everyone. So I don't think we have any citizens here right now. So I just wanted you to go ahead and wave one more time for us and just let them know that you're here.
Hello again to everyone who saw me before and to everyone who hasn't. Again, my name is Victoria Gordon. I have provided my email in the chat and our office phone number. That is my personal email, so you can email me directly with any of your requests or needs, and then we'll get it triaged properly. And then our office phone number, we just recently got our phones up, and so we're really excited. So please do utilize those. We haven't received many calls just yet, so we'll love for you guys to be the first. And of course,
Ms. Victoria, I'm sorry. Give us some examples of when the mayor, council may, or our citizens may need to contact you.
Sure. So the council, for example, for grants, we have the, federal government has federal monies, and then once it's given to the different members, we'll then give it to the state representatives, state government, to then distribute to the constituents. So that's definitely one for you all. And then for our constituents, it's anything related to a federal agency. So that's Social Security, IRS, federal workers, CMS, Centers for Medicaid, Medicare, passports. We can help expedite passport cases for emergencies. There's a whole host of things we can do. And we often just recommend, even if you don't know, we're happy to redirect you. So fill out the privacy form and, we'll send you to the right party if we're not the ones who can assist you.
You said fill out the privacy form. How do they access that?
Sure.
They email you. And so if we send your email address out, so they would email you, tell you what the issue is, and you would send them the privacy form, or?
They could absolutely do that, or they can go to our website. I'll drop that. Give me one quick second here.
The great thing is that you came and, introduce yourself. And sometimes people feel that, our state representatives or our represent our Congress are not touchable. And you find some people that know how to get everybody.
Sure.
But others who, they may have an issue, they don't know that they can actually email or,
Right.
there's some form I can send out.
Exactly.
We want everyone to be informed
Yes, ma'am.
with that. And I'm glad you came here tonight with that.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things you said, you talked about Medicaid, you talked about health insurance, Medicaid. So I'm Jane Elderly. I don't understand the process, so I can't get my medication, and my medication that I pay is too high. So I email you and I tell you that, and you tell me, or you direct me to what?
So then I would have you fill out the privacy form. So I would either
It's always the privacy form first.
Yes,
right?
ma'am. So we can't move forward until we are able to release your information to the agency. It is a legal document, so we have to have that. So we do always let our constituents know that. And once that's filled out, we will then take that form and reach out to the agency with it. And then we act as kind of the middleman. So we have different contacts than are available to the public. So we'll reach out to those specific people, say, hey, I need you to look into this information or this issue regarding Jane Elderly, and we'll get whatever response they have for us to her, back to her. And that's how we operate there. And we do try to make that process as easy as possible. We do understand for some of our elderly constituents, they just quite frankly don't like technology, and that's fine. We do have a mailing system. I understand that. So we do have, we're still getting it set up, but right now we are sending out privacy forms. We can print them out and then we'll send them to our DC office to have them mailed out. But we will be able to do that out of our our district office, hopefully soon. Like I mentioned, we just got phones. So it's still coming together. We are a new member office, but we do have all of our, everything is digital. So like I mentioned, I'll first direct them to the website. I always do in general. I understand some people don't understand how technology works or how to navigate. It's fine. So we'll make sure we can get them the printed version, or we can email it to them if they have an email as well.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am. And also just for, I do have my email available and I'm happy to share it, but I would request that you all try to keep it internal. I am happy. We put it on our business cards and I do give it to constituents. That's not a big deal. We just want to try to keep everything in Indigov because it is, or rather it's our IQ system. It is where we house all of our constituent information, and it is the easiest way for us to correspond with them. So if you do have a constituent who needs to get in touch with me, please have them call the office phone number until we have our centralized office email. And then you all can absolutely speak with me or email with me and say, hey, we need this, or my constituent needs some help. How do I redirect them? And I'll make sure they're handled properly.
Okay. Thank you. That's
yes,
good.
ma'am. Thank you.
All right. So as we, again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to move forward with our old business, and it's the reconsideration. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we do that, we have some edits to make to our agenda tonight. And I just need the council's approval to remove the painting ordinance and the ask for in-time harvest, $25,000. So at this time, I'll accept the motion to remove those items from the agenda and approve the agenda for this evening.
I so move.
Thank you, Ms. Tuberville. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chester. All right, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. Motion passes. Thank you. So that is what we are removing. And so item B, right, the final consideration of approval of ordinance 23-OR-02, amending the town's code of ordinances, chapter 215-4, concerning specifying the type of materials allowed for driveways. At this time, I'll accept the motion to approve this final consideration?
I
I'll make a
will-
motion.
So that was who?
Hillary and then Betsy.
All right. Ms. Chester made the motion, second by Ms. McCauley. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All right, so that motion passes. The next items are our minutes. The minutes from January the 11th, our work session, January the 11th, our closed session, and January the 11th, our regular session. At this time, I'll accept the motion to approve those meeting minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Tuberville. Is there a second?
Jamie.
Was that you, Ms. McCauley?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Moved by Ms. Tuberville, second by Ms. McCauley. Any discussion on the minutes? Any questions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Chester, for your aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Johnson, are you here? Okay, so,
He's on mute.
yeah, he might be.
I was
So the
muted.
next, oh, I hear you now. All right, so the next
Yeah, I
item
was
is,
muted.
yeah. The next item is the introduction and approval of ordinance 23-OR-03, amending the town's code of ordinance, amending chapter 34, elections.
Yeah, I need Jamie, Josh, Nancy.
Deleting voter registration by the election officers or the town clerk. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Motion made by Ms. McCauley, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the
Aye.
next item is the consideration of designation. Designation
You know,
for our 2015 Ford Explorer police cruiser as surplus and authorization to list it on gov.deals. So this
I'll
is
make
what
the
we do. Okay, thank you. Ms. McCauley, second. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any,
I'll second.
thank you. Any discussion? So this is a cruiser that we'd like to surplus. We do have an additional vehicle in waiting that is used for emergencies. And we will post this, we will try to sell this on govdeals.com. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All righty. The next motion passes. The next item is to renew our 3-year contract for mowing and landscaping services with Professional Lawn Maintenance Services, Inc. at an annual cost of $38,503.50. They are I hope everyone is pleased with them. At this time, I'll take a motion. I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley.
Second.
Was that Ms. Ms. McCall, Tuberville?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Tuberville. Any discussion? Great. Motion made by Ms. McCauley, second by Ms. Tuberville. All in favor, please indicate by
As long as you
saying
have the
aye.
clicker.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Yeah, no, it's not the remote.
Next item is the consideration of approving the Maryland Department of Agriculture to spray for mosquitoes between May 31st through September 27th at an estimated cost of $800.
I'll make the motion.
there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Your second?
I will second the motion.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? Any questions? Did anybody have any questions about that?
Hate mosquitoes.
There was some hesitation. All right, no discussion. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Great. The next item is the consideration of designation of the water wagon as surplus and authorization to sell it to professional lawn maintenance service. Our lawn landscape
I make the motion.
contractors for $700.
I
Thank
make
you
the
so
motion.
much.
for it.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
I'll second.
Gotcha. Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Motion made by Mr. Johnson, second by Ms. McCauley. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Perfect. Motion passes. The next is the consideration of appointment of the following residents to the election board for this upcoming election. Of course, we have Mr. Charles Mays. He'll be the chief judge, Ward 1. Ms. Meredith Massey, Judge, Ward 2. Ingrid Ali, alternate Judge 1. And Monique Burton, Judge, Ward 2. And Audrey Paps Gammon, she's an alternate as well, Judge Ward 2. Is there a motion to accept this election?
I'll make the motion.
Appoint. Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Second.
Johnson. Motion made by Ms. McCauley, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion questions?
These individuals agree already? Did you speak with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
So the next item is the
What's all that?
consideration of award of bid for sidewalk construction on 51st Avenue, Emerson, and 52nd Avenue to Alcoa Concrete. It's in the amount of $142,586.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCullough. And second, there's a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Is there discussion? No discussion. Thank you so much. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Perfect. Thank you so much. Motion passes. The next item is the consideration of approval to construct a 10 by 15 storage shed in the back of the parking lot, our parking lot at Town Hall, for storage of supplies to JOM Painting in the amount of $9,500, which includes a concrete pad and electrical wiring. Is there
I'll
a
make the motion.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? Not? Great. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Perfect.
Aye.
Thank you so much, motion passes. The next item is the consideration of approval to replace 2 license plates readers. The police currently use this from LSAG. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. The purchase is in the amount of $33,350. This is a Maryland State Police Grant, FY23, a local agency license plate reader grant, which our acting chief Bill went after and received. So is there a motion to?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you so much. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chester. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. What was wrong with the old readers?
One is just out of date and the other one is just not picking up at all. So we had Prince George's County Police come down here and try to do a diagnostic on it, but they couldn't get it to work either. So we only got one actual camera that's working on one cruiser, and then the other ones that are on the back of the newest cruiser They're out of date and they picked up certain things, but they missed a lot.
All right.
Good question. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson, for that. So was that Ms. McCully made the motion? And
Yes, I
second
did.
by
Me, Hillary.
Ms. Chester. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. Motion passes. And Chief, next item is your report for police and code enforcement. Thank you so much, Council.
Were we doing the Drake after the police report, Mr. Dijon Drake, or?
We're going to see him shortly, soon as
Okay.
we finish with the dialogues.
Got you. So for the month of January, we had, of course, the unfortunate contact shooting on Lafayette. We had 3 auto thefts. Well, most of them were actually Edmonston police. We recovered stolen vehicles in the town. We only had 1 vehicle that was actually stolen from town. Outside of that, that was the only crime we had. As far as parking tickets, we had 14 parking tickets issued, 120 moving violations made, 1 traffic arrest, 1 criminal arrest, 220 premise checks, 49 traffic stops, 23 traffic impounds, 197 calls for service, and 99 red light camera citations. So the red light camera generated $7,425, and we generated $1,955 from vehicle impounds. Any questions about any incidents that we had? For the code report, she wrote 13 municipal infractions, including warnings. She wrote 7 warning letters, including the orange stickers. She issued 3 stop work orders, which came from the result of the shooting that happened on Lafayette. We issued 3 stop work orders, and we're in the process of working with the property manager in reference to securing that location. 4 parking citations were issued by code enforcement, and that was it for code reports. Any questions for that one?
Good.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. Did you want to give any background on the 2 officers that you wanted to present tonight?
Yes. So with the first guy that you guys met, Mr. Armani, like he explained, he's from the MWA, Metro Washington Area Airport Police Authority. And the second one that we have is Mr. Drake Dijon. Dijon is his first name, actually. He's from Prince George's County Sheriff's. Right now, we're at the point where we completed their background. Tomorrow, they would do a voice stress test, which is the truth determination or clarification device. And then from there, we would go into the psychological portion of the background process. So if everything goes good, my goal is to try to have them into the next, what we call comparative compliance, which is the class that certifies or recertify them as police officers in Maryland. So far, we're on a good path with them.
Any questions, any concerns, any comments? Great. Thank you so much, Chief. Greatly appreciated.
You're welcome.
All right, next is our Mr. Barnes.
Thanks, Your Honor. I don't have a lot to say. We hosted a stormwater grant. We're a partner in a grant with the Neighborhood Design Center with Riverdale Park, North Brentwood, and Hyattsville. And so over the next year, there will be 4 sessions of those maintenance folks and the leadership getting together to learn and work on how to maintain the rain gardens and how to, the importance of them, and learning out. We hosted the first session last week, and we had 15 maintenance workers, and we had about the same number of leaders from those communities go through the presentation from Neighborhood Design. So we're excited to be showing that off. As I said earlier, our council meetings are now streaming on YouTube and will be on Facebook so that folks can see them. And then our website has been down for about 2 weeks, and so we're trying to resolve that and get it back up working correctly. We hope to do that in the next couple of days. finally, I sent out to you at the quarterly Port Towns meeting, was a discussion about events that the 4 towns could coordinate on, and there were a number of ideas and suggestions, a mental health fair. I believe there was a International Day talked about. Mayor probably remembers them all, but anyway, you received a survey today from me, and that survey needs to go back in by February 21st. Please take some time to do the survey and let them know. They're going to tabulate them so that the port towns can determine what maybe cooperative event can occur with the 4 communities during the year here. Please do that. And I believe that's all I have tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barnes. I greatly appreciate it. Any dialogue from the council? Mr. Johnson?
The only thing I noticed over here where I live at, people are really making this illegal turn coming out of the complex. Instead of going down to the light and making the U-turn, they're making that illegal turn right there in front of the complex. And I've seen 2 accidents that, they didn't happen, but it came very close because some people making illegal turns. That's something I should have brought up with Officer Bill, but I forgot.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Now, Mr. Johnson, I talked to you to see exactly which location you're talking about as far as the entrance.
It's like when you coming down Kenilworth Avenue to make the left to go into Fountain Park. Now the people coming out of Fountain Park and making that illegal turn in that left turn lane.
I got you. I know what you're talking about.
There's been a lot of that going on lately, so.
All right.
Other than that, that's all I
got
have.
information.
Thank you, Mr.
We'll
Johnson.
look into it today.
Mr. Colley?
Not a whole lot to say other than I'm excited that we're going to have 2 new officers on to help take care of our little town. Thanks, Eric, for making that happen.
No problem. You're welcome.
Thank you. Ms. Tuberville?
I don't have anything for us tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. And Ms. Chester?
I also don't really have any updates. I'm excited about the stormwater grants, the flood mitigation grants coming out. It's an exciting initiative.
Yeah,
I saw that in the newsletter, so hopefully it's
yeah.
a good thing for our residents. They're excited. Take advantage of it.
I
Thank you
approve
for
the
the
flyer.
work that we all did. Yeah, you did. Great job.
I approved the flyer today, so it will go door to door, and
Excellent.
everyone will have it in their hands.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barnes.
No
lot of
problem.
work.
It's
A lot of work. A lot of
Lot of
work.
work. And still a lot of work coming for you. And so I appreciate it going forward.
There was a
Avery
lot
and
of
I
work for Mr. Barnes to put together and make happen, but it was good work on our part as well. The input, the dialogue is always important.
And Miss Avery and I both will be, we're listed as the contacts, and so either one of us can handle applications and questions as they come.
Is that everybody? Okay. So thank you so much, Ms. Avery, for the work you're doing, you and Asha on the Black History Program. Greatly appreciate it and excited about what's coming up. Just to let you know, PGCMA has sent in a letter of support on rent stabilization. I'm on 2 sides of the fence. Of course, you guys know that because I'm a property manager, but I definitely understand housing and affordability. Alonzo Washington, who was our delegate, has now been appointed as our new senator, as our previous senator is now working for the office of
Maryland Energy Administration.
energy. I was going to say electricity, and I knew that was wrong. With Governor Wes Moore. So yes, there's an open delegate position that they'll be filling shortly with the Democratic Central Committee. I am excited about our new officers because I do believe that our police department needs that assistance. So thank you for the work that you've done, Chief Beal. And also, it's something about these young teenagers that are stealing cars. It's a problem, and it's all over. And we actually had an incident here in the town. So that just shows you how popular it is. So we've got to do something politically, and it starts here at our base and it goes up. But we've got to draw attention to some changes. This is my personal in some of our laws concerning our youth. I know we don't want our youth in jail, but we have to do something different to protect ourselves and our property, right? So thank you for the work that you guys did the other day. And just the one thing Chief Beal said to me is, if I have to, we're going to lock down Edmonston so that we can find out who committed this crime. So thanks to our neighbors who are not afraid to talk to the police. You know, so many like DC and in Baltimore and so on, people are afraid to say, I saw this, but I see that our neighbors are not. So I want to shout out our neighbors, our neighbors who have cameras or who are just nosy. Nothing like a good nosy neighbor, right?
They actually came in handy the other day, which made it a good effort for us to make apprehension of the suspects in that same day that events happened.
Good. And that's how we get criminals off the street. So we've got to encourage them to do that. That's all I have. Yeah, that's it. So if there is nothing else, we are going to adjourn this meeting and then we'll go into a closed session just to finish up on an interview with one of our police officers. And we do not have to come back to the open session because the work has been done tonight. So at this time, I'll accept the motion to go into closed session for interviews and then to adjourn from there.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, and our, thank you, Ms. McCullough. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Our, is all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Great. Our attorney will be here next month with us. Okay. But I think we did pretty good. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Victoria, for being here. Greatly appreciate you.
Thank you all for having me again.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, Mr. Drake. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
If no one else has anything else. All right,
No,
great.
good.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Rick, you can let him out. Is Mr. Drake off?
Yeah, it looked like he left already.
All right. Chief, I believe that this was one of your better choices. I believe it was. I'm not saying not to hire him.
Oh, no. So my thing was, I would have thought that he would have outshined the first candidate with his experience from a bigger
That's what I was
agency.
thinking.
And that's why he was number 2. Mr. Armani, I think, has a better understanding of what he does of the town. Mr. Armani, he came to us, he was ready, he was eager. He wanted to do a ride along, so we sent him for a ride along, and he's been out there ever since. So, and that's why I said, I think with Mr. Armani, he hasn't been the real police. He came from NY. So to come from NY, come over in Edmonston, and we can mold you and make you or whatever Edmonston, image is. Whereas with Mr. Drake, he came from the Prince George's County Sheriff. He already learned their ways. He's already learned their culture. So that, and even this, I interviewed with him recently. I talked to him and talked to him about the town and what we expect, and he had a clear understanding of it when I met with him. But Mr. Armani, on the other hand, like I said, because he didn't come from a Maryland agency, it's a lot better for us to move forward with him.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward with Mr. Armani quicker than I am with Mr. Drake, because I wanted to be some lag time to make sure that this is something that we want and something that he wants. So with Mr. Armani, he's number 1 in our push-through list. Like I said, Mr. Drake is just on the back burner, and I presented him, so if everything does go good, and if we do decide to keep pushing, at least we got a second option. Because right now, every law enforcement agency is hurting for bodies.
Right.
What I don't want to do is disqualify him and end up with somebody worse than what we got right now.
Right. I was just concerned with, just because of the demeanor, sort of. Yesterday, I slightly had a chance to talk with him.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little irritated because of the connection and the fact that a lot of stuff. But he made me wonder, when I go on an interview and it's a Zoom, I will be the one on camera. I could care less if the rest of everyone else is not on camera. But because I'm on the interview, I'm going to be on camera unless you tell me no. Because I'm being interviewed. So you want to see who you want to hire. So I thought that was rude. But that was my thought. And I thought maybe I was feeling that way because of how I felt yesterday. And these are all my little personals.
But I don't blame you.
And it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the experience and all of that. But then it also made me feel like a little bit of arrogance was there. And how do you see our town? Don't minimize who we are. We're small, but we are professionals, and we are a town. We have a police department, we have a mayor and a council. We do things.
Mm-hmm.
So don't minimize who we are. And so I sort of felt that.
And I think that comes from, everybody knows that, Edmonston is like a second chance agency. So people that get let go.
They feel like we are.
They feel like. And so they feel like, okay, if I get an interview with Edmonston, I can sell them BS and get picked up because they're a second chance agency. They need baddies. But I've proven to everybody, I've disqualified more people that we can actually interview, because I want to make sure that they get past the town council and the mayor. So if I go through your file and I see something that I don't like and they're not going to like, it's not going to even make it to this interview process. And so everybody be like, well, I thought I could just go to Edmonston and get hired. No, that's not the case, because they know that if they come over here, and I picked up one ahead of time, they come over here, they get their certification, renew, and then they bounce off to another bigger agency. And that's not what we're in the business of doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met with Mr. Drake, I told him what our expectations was, what we expected, and that we're not a second chance agency. Like, you're gonna have to put some time and effort into coming over here and, earning what we sign you up for, which is the certification. And so this is he's still in the early phases of the background process. He's still got to get past the voice stress analysis. He's still got to get past the psychological, the physical, and it's still a whole room for me to disqualify him. You know, I just wanted him to meet you guys to see what your to see what your views of it was before I spent the extra money and going there finding and saying, no, we're not going to do that. So I would rather disqualify him ahead of time before we end up spending a lot of money. And that was the reason for me having him come up right now instead of later down on the road.
Thank you. That was my input. Did anybody else have any input or feelings or thoughts or whatever?
You know, when I go for a job interview, I want to show a little enthusiasm, a little, you know, I'm a good person. I'm, you know, happy-go-lucky. You know, then, you know, the truth will come out later. But, you know,
Right.
first,
Right.
I want, and he, you know, he just seemed like, okay, I'm here. I got the job. Let's go. You know.
And he doesn't have the job yet because we haven't even given him anything. We're just going through the process.
Yeah, I know that, but you know, as you say, we are the second chance police department, and we're known through several counties as, you know, when you can't get hired by anybody. In the past, Edmonston would hire.
Right.
Yeah, the first guy I definitely like, because he's like, you know, he seemed to be a very personable, you know, person. This one was very
Hungry.
Yeah.
The first guy was hungry, you know,
Yeah.
to do.
Drake was very monotone, you know, and that always makes me nervous.
Yeah, and I also wonder, like, I mean, his demeanor, but his experience in the sheriff's office too, like, and what he said to us was a lot of stuff about, like, kind of dealing with, like, really serious offenses and kind of, it's a different beat in Edmonston, right? Like
A lack of understanding Edmonston.
of the community, right? So, and I just wonder too if he would be happy here.
Right.
And then that is a good question. And that's what I tell people when we interview, and that's why I brought him in for the interview. I told him this isn't District Heights, Forest Heights, Sea Pleasant. We don't get the everyday calls or carjacking shootings. I said, we are here as a community police. Just be present, turn your cruise lights on, park at Sunoco. Yeah, you can pull people over here and there when you see it fits. But I always tell them, the town, they don't care if you only write 3 warnings and 3 tickets. As long as they can see you inside the town and post it up somewhere, that's what they love. When they see you bonding with the community, that's what they prefer to see versus you going up and down the street trying to chase the bad guy. So I tell everybody, this is the best job to have, especially in today's climate where, we don't have to worry about chasing somebody down and risking into a fight. We don't have people hanging out in front of our stores in Edmonston. So if you want to come to work and be, seen and do your community policing thing, this is the prime department right here.
But on a 1+ for him, he did know what kind of crime level we do have here. We aren't a city of Hyattsville. We're not a District Heights. So I mean, I'll give him credit that he did know a little bit about our background.
Who doesn't know that about our town?
Well, a lot of people, when you say Edmonston, they go, who? What?
Betsy has a point, but I only get that on the southern part of the county when they say, where's Edmonston at?
I tell you what, no one in the southern county knows what Edmonston is.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes.
No, that's not a bad thing at all. Because if I tell them I live in Edmonston, what? Where's that?
They always think Baltimore.
Yeah. Because they have Edmonston Road or something.
Yeah, at the village.
So that was my thought. I mean, I'm real sensitive about people minimizing who we are and what we do.
Yeah.
I'm real sensitive about that.
Well, and also then you don't want them to sort of get bored and want to leave right away. Like if this isn't.
It's that, and it's also not taking seriously what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is easy. This is Mayberry. You know.
Well, I'll tell you,
Huh?
when the money came on and I saw he had like a hoodie on,
Uh-huh.
and for a millisecond, I was like, what? And then I looked at myself and I was like, oh.
Well, I'll tell you, I did that as well because I'm here at the town hall and I saw him and I said, he didn't. And then I said, you know, times are different in a way and it's Zoom.
Mhm.
And I said, well, maybe he's going to take that hoodie off beforehand and he has some other kind of shirt. I don't know. And then they're different personalities. And so I think what we saw was his personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take it as disrespectful. I didn't take him as being disrespectful.
Neither did I. Once
Yeah.
I took a hot second and realized what a hypocrisy
I'm in a
I was
hoodie.
embodying at that moment. Yeah.
And I had talked to him yesterday. So I kind of thought, I saw it. And when I see things, certain things, I think about, okay, they have to come before the council. Oh my gosh, you know. But then I said, dang, you know, that's kind of his personality. And I think that's what we need, like somebody that can relate. You know, I think he's hyped too. I told the chief, I said, I think I told you or Rod, he's like hyperactive to me.
Who's that, Amani?
Uh-huh. Yeah, not hyperactive to go and pull the trigger. I don't mean like that, but I mean like, yeah, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do next? What I gotta do? Where am I gonna go? What? That's what I mean. Yeah.
He seemed
Kyle.
more prepared, like he
I wanna learn.
knew the kind of questions you usually ask and answer in an interview. He seemed prepared and sort of, you know, came to the interview prepared to tell us, like, here's why I'm interested. Here's what I was looking at. That's always good.
So, yeah.
Well, the first one reminded me of a Kyle. You remember Kyle, Tracy?
I do.
And the second one, I can't remember the guy's name, but we got rid of him because we tracked him going to Richmond at night. He always wanted to work nights.
Was he
And
the
he wa-
black
he-
guy?
Yeah, black guy. Him and I got into it many
He's a
times.
sheriff.
Uh-huh.
He's
And
a deputy sheriff.
Yeah, he and I got into it more than once. But he would come in and then he would go see his girlfriend in Richmond. And he'd always get 2 hours of overtime because he would get caught in traffic coming back up.
Mhm. I think that's him.
Yep. I know he left here, you know, Walker finally threw him out, but they caught him. They put a tracker on his car.
Oh, that's not him. That's the other guy. Yeah, that's the other guy. That's the really, he was real dark, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
really obnoxious. And I tell you, he didn't like women at all.
yeah. So I know that's not where we're going, but you know, one time he walked into my house. My storm door was just open. My storm door was open. He just walked in. He said, "Oh, I saw your door open," so I decided to check things out. But anyway, that's not what oh my God, my you don't just walk into my house. But anyway, so okay,
That's not how that works.
right? It's not how that works.
Do you remember when we had to evacuate over here because they thought the gas station had a gas leak?
No.
Oh, and we all ended up at town hall. And
No.
yeah, Kyle was here. I wasn't on the first year, I think I wasn't on the council. And a Comer Manor officer came over and started banging on my door real hard. This is like at 2 a.m. Kyle was coming down the road. He says, "Get off her porch now or you're going to get shot." Because he was real aggressive knocking on the door.
He was aggressive. I saw him put, what do they call it, gun in the face thing?
And so I opened the door up and the guy looked at me and Kyle looked at me and says, "You're lucky she didn't shoot you." Because I thought he was going to come through and break the window.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, "Buddy, I said, you don't realize on the other side of the store is a shotgun. If I hadn't looked out from my window to see it was an officer, I said, I would have just waited for you to come through."
You would have been.
Yeah, I mean, he came through. It scared. Haley was a baby.
Mhm.
That tells you how far back that
How
was.
long it was, yeah.
Scared the heck out of her. Yeah,
So this is our thoughts, Chief. Go from there.
I appreciate that.
All right. Okay, so we can adjourn this meeting. We don't have to go back into our regular meeting. Any more comments?
No.
All right. I'm sure the chief will update me and I'll update you guys or all of us. Motion to adjourn.
motion. Make it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.